This is just showing you another example that's talking about abstract class. So let me show you this abstract class named electronic equipments, right? With the attributes name voltage. With the abstract method power consumption calculator. Like I said, it's not necessary to have just the abstract method in abstract class. You can just have the regular method. Let's say we're going to calculate for pay electronic equipments power consumption calculator. And let me create another method. Let's say what is the method should be good for electronic equipments besides power consumption calculator. Cost power consumption cost, and this one I'm going to implement it. The cost depends on the how much you use, so let's put the hours that use. So it's going to return the hour, and actually this one should multiply by the power consumption calculator here, or the watt. So let's make it simple for now. We're going to pass the watt in. I mean, this is just an example. The actual formula may not be correct. It just depends on how we calculating it, right? Yeah, so we have to look up on that. But this is just an example to demonstrate what's an abstract electronic equipments class. You may see you can contain the abstract methods and regular method with the implementations. Now, cell phone is going to extend electronic equipments. Then you see there's an error right away because you're required to add and implement it, which is you need to implement it here. Right, so now you can implement it like power consumption calculator. Maybe we just say watt times the current, right? So that's it. So let me create another class like TV, right? TV is going to extend it is an electronic equipment, correct? So it's going to extend that. So there's an error because of it. You're required to what you're required to do? You have to implement what's the method name? Power consumption, right? I mean, in Eclipse you can just use that exclamation mark and do add, right? But if you don't use Eclipse, you may use another notepad, textpad. Then, or you start to learn this, then you better implement it like writing it. Then you know, because sometimes you use Eclipse to help and you pretty much just don't learn much from that. Now we try to implement it here, which is now we're good. So because we extend an abstract class, then we are required to implement the abstract methods, which is this. But for the regular, you don't need to. You already have an access to power consumption cost. because it's inherited. Right. Now, you have a good point why some method has to be abstract, some method doesn't have to. Like for example, this method has to be abstract because in the electrical engineer, you know, there are many ways to calculate power consumptions. If you're talking about the 3-phase, you have to times with the square root of 3. I happen to know a little bit because my bachelor is in electrical engineer. So that's why we don't want to implement it here, because not all the electronic equipment has the same formula to calculate that. That's why we want to make it as an abstract. Like for example, if you talk about like your AC unit or the dryer, those are some of them have different way to calculate. Like if I'm creating a new class and say AC, let me just say 3 phases. I'm going to extend. It is also electronics or not? Maybe it's actually appliance now, right? And then you can make it different. Like I said, if you have to use another formula, right? Square root of 3. You have to multiply that 2. See? So when you calculate for AC unit, it could be different formula. So that's why we want to make sure that all the subclasses has to implement power consumption, to make sure that they have to have this formula in place, right? Actually, this could be happen into the geometric shapes, right? Like you may have your class as geometric shapes, and you want to do calculate volumes could be different, right? Because different shapes has different formula, but you should do the abstract, like to do calculate volume, because you want to make sure that all like sphere extends the geometric shapes has to implement, right? But we don't want to implement it here. Why? Because sphere and cubics, they have different formula. That's why you want to make it abstract. Let's look at an interface comparing to the abstract class now. Now I'm going to create an interface, say let's think about cell phone, TV, AC. What do they have in common? And game unit, let's say. I'm going to create an interface named game unit here. So we're gonna have the methods, right? The method is public, and this is gonna be an abstract, but it's implicitly abstract. We don't need to say abstract, right? Okay, so we can just make it easy. Return is boolean is fun. So that's an abstract. Now come back to our electronics. So electronics equipment is an abstract class. Come to cell phone. Cell phone extend electronics equipment. So cell phone is an electronic equipment, has an is a relationship. Now if I do implements game, like we said, cell phone, now we just conclude that is a also apply to the interface, right? Relationship. So cell phone is also a game unit, right? Now this is a way that to make your cell phone to be polymorphism, has many forms. Cell phone can be electronics equipment. Cell phone can be a game unit. That makes sense? Like if I have implements that I require to add the unimplemented methods, right? Of course we want it to be abstract because it can be fun and it can be not fun using cell phone to be a game, right? So it depends. So that's why let the one who implement it to implement the methods and tell me, right? Like I can just say using cell phone to do, it's not fun. It could be more convenience. Is it convenience? Maybe convenience, right? Like if I add another method on my game unit, say is convenience. Convenience. Now if I do that, my cell phone required to implement that method too, and it is convenience. But now when we talk about TV also can be the games, right? Is a game, right? By using the interface game unit, then you're required to implement all the abstract methods. It's fun, it's true, right? Use TV is more fun because it's big, but it's kind of like convenience because it's huge, large, right? So that's why we want to make them as an abstract method and let the class to implement it, because they can have the vary, right, implementations. So that's the point of using abstract. We can do multiple interfaces, right? Like TV can be game unit. Okay, so can I make it as a phone too? Like Skype's phone, smart TV, right? So yes, so let me create an interface like new class, say what do you call that type of phone? I guess telephone as an interface. No, not a class interface. So the methods, we're gonna have the methods. So I'm gonna say let's create, we can also have an attribute named signal strength, and it could be string. So we want to initialize it. Hi.